got a Acura MDX. I think it's a 2002, but it has some idle issues. So I think it's a Facebook Marketplace buy. Don't hold me on that, but it's 225,606 miles on it. We're gonna take a look into these idle problems and see if it's something that we can't resolve. Let me see if I can start it up for you while we're waiting on this. Maybe you can get a visual of what it's doing. It's hunting idle at times, but it seems to be more pronounced when it's cooler than when it's warmed up, which made me suspect probably the base idle is probably messed up. I'm not sure yet. Maybe it'll start to do it as we progress to looking at this issue. Right, so here I am. I managed to get to the bidirectional portion. I should be in the bidirectional portion, so we do have options here. It wouldn't allow me to put the specific vehicle in, but it's a Honda Odyssey that I'm logged into. That's a 2001. I mean, they should have the same motor. So we got a P1519, which is an idle air control valve circuit failure. Let's see the snowflake here about when it would happen. So we got engine coolant. Let's see here, 185 degrees. Intake air temp sensor is 115. It's a map sensor, heated O2, battery. So we just got some generic voltage. Yeah, we just have some basic stuff. Nothing crazy. Fuel trims are perfectly fine. Whatever. Usually when you get circuit codes, this is the biggest thing. Usually you can just replace the part and that's it. But I needed to get the idle to hunt. Most importantly, because when I'm thinking if it's a circuit problem, then yes, something internally can fail, but I wonder if the code is just so general to the point where, you know, maybe it just detects a higher than normal expected idle, and then we have an issue and it's suspecting the circuit. So I do trust circuit fault codes. I just don't really trust too much. So look how high our idle is right now. But let me turn the AC off. There we go. So we're at 1100 right now. Let's see, we got idle air control valve command or some sort of control. What I want to do is clear the code. I see command 14%. I think it's a good idea to probably disconnect it, because if it's just legitimately not working, that's one thing. But if we have just a natural state of a high idle, that's going to be another. Let's look at our fuel trims real quick and see if we have any sort of lean conditions, which will indicate a vacuum leak. Because with the older cars, you can have a vacuum leak and this will happen. Here we go. Nope. They're perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. So we have a stoichiometric value of 1 and it's only adding 1%, taking away 1% on the short term. We're in great shape with that. Let's do this. Let's clear the code out. Yep, there we go. Another big thing can happen, coolant level. When she came by originally, I did check the coolant. That's fine. But what I would like to do is get the base idle, taken care of first. Let's clear this code out. Because my thing is a naturally higher than expected idle is going to cause this problem. Okay, we'll follow your command. And not necessarily a circuit fault. Because I think if it's trying to control the circuit, it can't control it by bringing it down, by lowering the percentage of the duty cycle with the idle air control valve. Then it's just going to generate a fault code because there's just uncontrollable idle and it's unsustained. So that's permanent. That's irrelevant right now. Light should go out. Oh, the chicken light didn't go out. Why does it? I didn't follow instructions 100% to clear it. Bear with me. I probably didn't even actually hit the clear button, did I? Sometimes I do overlook that and hit the read button instead. I will say Honda is a little slower, Toyota's a little slower with all tails. Okay, so that's a legitimate issue. So we likely just have a straight up circuit fault. Let me try one more thing, because men that weren't able to put the VIN number in here, I want to try to clear it in the generic portion, because it may not have, I remember reading something about the engine function. It may not have granted me access to clear codes just for safety precaution. Let me just try it. All right, here we are in the generic function. Let's see if we clear this code out. Do your thing. We might just be dealing with a bad circuit. We could literally just be dealing with a faulty component, but it looked like it was replaced before. And because it's replaced doesn't mean anything else, because we could be dealing with broken wires. Yep, so we still dealing with that. Let's see. Okay. All right, no big deal. All right, let's go here. Live data. Let's just see what our idle is. But my thing is, the idle, it idles. Is it naturally, organically going high? Or is the idle air control commanding that? See? Let's see here. So we got idle air control valve information in here too. I swear, nope, I guess it's not. Okay. As long as our fuel trims are fine, we're at 1400. Let's try some things real quick. And pardon me, because I still haven't looked up any service data yet. I'm just kind of going off of feel right now. The idle air control valve is going to reside right here under the throttle body. So what I would like to do, and like I said, it was replaced already. That's what bothers me. But and y'all know within my videos, because it's new doesn't mean anything. Look at that. It looks new. Let me get a better visual on idle air control valve. Let me see if I can pull this end off first. I'm gonna break that intake hose. This off. Then we can get a better view of it. There's our idle air control valve. You see how the color is different? It's not the same color as the throttle body here. So we could have just been dealing with aftermarket problems, but the main thing we probably need to do is test that circuit. At the same time though, mind you, like I said, the idle's very high. We probably just need to stabilize this idle. Let's take a look in the throttle body. The throttle plate. It is. It's dirty, but mind you, because it's dirty, that means it should idle worse, not higher. Let's check the throttle. Let's start this throttle cable. Because if the cable is too tight, which is fine, you press the accelerator cable and you got a little bit of play before it starts to really engage. You can see me moving the plate there. There should be a fast idle screw also, but it's at the base in the back here. It's underneath. You can be able to see it that well. I think logically though, Uh-oh. Is this normal? But what if we do have some sort of intake leak that's causing the idle high? Because if I get the base idle better, I mean, then we can go from there. The idle air control valve can make its compensation like it should if we get the idle to drop. Let's start it up and check the vent here for the idle. This is where it gets air and regulated through the idle air control valve. There's another thing here. Let me see. I think this. I think that's still the fast idle thermal valve is still just going to be regulated, meaning that the fast idle thermal valve is coolant operated. Oh, this heats up the throttle body. Let me see here. Let's try to see if we can get the idle to just naturally go down. Yeah, I can see where the idle air control valve may be stuck open. Yeah, I think it's worth pulling this idle air control valve off and inspecting that. Let's try one more thing though. We forgot to hit it. Still didn't change anything. Let's disconnect it. Oh, you see that? I moved it and it changed. Oh wow. We're probably dealing with some continuity issue. Hell yeah. Let's pull off and do a pin inspection. We're on the right track. You remember that Ford truck we were dealing with? We had pin fitment problems, but no part will replace. It was just due to age. Let me see if I can get this off of here. There we go. Oh yeah. Wow. Yeah, check this out. Let's take a gander at this. Look at that center pin. See it. Check out that center pin. That looks, oh, in that far right one, look horrible. Oh, I can't see it, but those pins they're spread out pretty far. There's no pin tension, and you know, jobs come in clusters, so what are the odds of it just not simply being a pin tension problem? Let me pull that connector off and reset those pins, and we should be in good shape. I have my lock release tool here, and I'm just going to take it because it resembles a pin, and I'm just going to go right into the connector and see if there's any pin tension. This feels good. This feels good. To be honest, that one feels pretty good too. So if the pin tension's there, well, we might just be dealing with like the valve, the motor, the driver motor itself may be shot. Like there's probably some broken contacts inside of it. So this issue is actually going to be inside the idle air control valve. So if I move the wires, nothing happens. If I move the in, I need to be 100% certain. I'm just going to go ahead and try to fix the pin fitment issue, because if you look on the far left there, let's see, zoom in, far left one is the worst, and if you just look at it just right, that cavity is spread out pretty far. I don't know if the camera show all the detail, but it's not great. Let's see. Yeah, you can see how open that is. Let's try to get that taken care of first and see if it makes any change. Yeah, look how open that is. And like I said, jobs come in clusters, man. I'm not going to sit there and deny that this is not going to be the problem, especially when I can move the connector and it gets better. Let's just fix what's obvious first. Take it down. What it looks like now. That's a lot better. I'm going to do all three of them like that, and what I did was pried up against that spring, the center part right there, and that took care of the spring tension. So I'm going to do all three like that and put them back individually, and we'll check our work. Let's pop it back in there, see if it makes a difference. Oh yeah. See, the issue's gonna be inside the unit. Yeah, we got connection problems within the idle air control valve. So we know we can make it work, but it's not staying working. So simply put, we need the idle air control valve. Even though I didn't use any electronics to verify the circuit work, I can manipulate that connector and make it work normal. Anytime you have to do something like that and you got good pin fitment, circuit's just bad. It's just lost its feedback loop, and the computer can't recognize that there's some circuit continuity or circuit integrity. So we just need to replace this device. I had an idle air control valve, but I don't have the one for this car because the housing is different. However, the motor looked exactly the same. I should be able to take this component off and replace it with the working motor like I got here. But they're exactly the same. They just changed the housings. Let me see if I can disassemble this. Stupid thing got the Torx Plus style Torx, so I'm gonna have to go grab those. But I swear to you, these are exactly the same. The hook is exactly, there's nothing different about it. I'll just run to Harbor Freight somewhere and just grab some, and then I'll pop it on there, and it should work just fine. It's nothing special about this. All right, I just got back from the parts store, which y'all know I frequently patronize O'Reilly's, but unfortunately they had what I needed, but the box looked used. So I went and got something from AutoZone, which was a better price actually. I just like to keep my reputations up with the companies I deal with. Things happen. That's why it's a side piece store for a reason. We're going to work on getting this idle air control valve out. It shouldn't take long. I'm just going to take a couple bolts off from the throttle body, flip it around, and then pull it out. There's some coolant lines at the bottom here too. I think I need to address those first. One here and then one at the bottom. think we can just, I'll knock those out. Let's get that out. Got the upper gap. Take it both. What was on first? I was like that in how much? You might pull off the issue. And I'll put my hand on. Go later. Go. We're gonna find. It's my own. We take those. Those lock. We can check. There's Owen. This is going to be an unofficial test based off the logic of how this component operates. I just should be simply be able to go to a common source. Like we have a power here and these are ground controlled lightly. I'm just going off of some general information, and I'm just going to test the continuity and just do a wiggle test, because what we saw was a broken circuit. What we witnessed was a broken circuit, but we can play with it and it'll work out just fine. Let me just test my circuit first. So we're good. Let's hook up on the center here, and we're going to do the same thing with the other one. And then we're going to go to the outside edge. So we got 10 kilo ohms. Let's move this. See that? I just moved the housing in it, and it went open. Open right now. I'm just moving the housing. Look at that. The issue's inside of here. Remember when I pulled it just right, it went closed, but now let's push it closed and it goes open. Especially if you twist it. If I twist it, it'll go open. And I'm not even touching the connectors. Not at all. I'm just moving the housing now. This is just, the unit is just bad. That's our circuit integrity test right here, and that's verifying what the computer was suggesting, that hey, we got a circuit fault. And that's why I was saying earlier, when you get a circuit fault, this is the time where you have your best chances on just throwing a part in at work. But I did check pin fitment. Was a good attempt, because like I say, jobs come in clusters. Let me get the old one. I said old one. Let's get the new one back on there, and our issue should be 100% fixed. I did hit the screws with some fluid film, just in case I have to go back through it, or some next guy. So it's going to help both of us out in the future. Even though they were already easy to come off, something's better than nothing. Look, I was wondering why nothing was fitting right. I put the damn thing on backwards. Let me flip it around the appropriate way. See, I make mistakes too. Right now, it's not a bad idea to go ahead and just wipe down the throttle body and clean it while it's soft and accessible. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock that out. There we go. No fault codes. That's good. It should be idling perfectly fine now. Let's go to our live data. If the engine is cool, the downside is our coolant has not yet circulated to the idle air control valve, so it might idle just a little bit higher But as long as we're not going to be at 1200, but I expect a little bit of loping. Where's our engine speed? Oh, duh, in front of my face. So I'm gonna let this warm up. I'm gonna put everything back together, and then we'll look at our data. We're in good shape. It's idling normal. It's only been 3 minutes. It didn't take me long to put everything back, and we're at 740 RPM approximately. She leveled out. We got the code cleared. Let's do this. Let's do a wiggle test. That's the only true way to verify that we're fixed. Is to do a wiggle test. Nothing. Moving it forward, moving it back. We're in good shape. So she's good. She's good. Let's do one more check of the check engine light. Yep. Read codes. And I do believe we are 100% fixed. Cool, 100% fixed. Awesome, just that easy. Now, like I said, that test that I did was unofficial. I just didn't want to have to take that thing off to like do that type of test. And on my way to the parts store, I was like, I think I can test it. And lo and behold, based off the wiring diagram, yeah, it worked out very fine. Now, if anything happened, which I highly doubt, y'all know I'm going to update. I just don't think this idle air control valve was just going to fail again. I was like, man, maybe I need to use the oscilloscope and stuff. And nope, didn't need all that technology. The only thing we did was a resistance test and look at some data, basic. Anybody got a multimeter and some a generic scanner that can pull up basic OBD live data, you can fix this. So hey, if anything happened, I'll definitely update. Hit that link, subscribe channel, stay informed how the is going to work. See you on the next one.